Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. It is a sad episode. This is the reaction pod to the Week 3 loss to the Cleveland Browns, 34-20. I am joined by a very special guest of the Burgundy Zone, a big fan of somebody that we are very close to. We consider a friend from across the pond, Ian Bacon. How are you, sir?
I could be better, but yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, Ian. So, first thing I have to ask you regarding this loss. This is the second one in a row where Ron Rivera essentially kneels the game away and just gives the game away. So, let me get your opinion. Do you think that is an issue? Do you have a problem with that?
I don't know. I don't know whether he can sort of like sees the writing on the wall and he doesn't want the pain to last any longer. I think he said before as well that he doesn't want to sort of risk any injuries as well by stopping them starting. But if you look towards the end of the game there, while it was still a two-play game, we still had that opportunity, or potentially had that opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see if it carries on. I mean, hopefully we're not going to be in these positions too much longer. But yeah, a bit of a strange one. There seems to be a bit of a mixed reaction to it on Twitter from what I've just briefly seen.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate, and a lot of people are going to harp on the fact that Ron Rivera essentially kneeled the game away. But look, they're down by 2 touchdowns. They haven't been able to move the ball at all against their will, against Cleveland's will. I understand where he's coming from because, look, they're already without Matt Ioannidis. They're already without Chase Young and Dontrell Inman in this game that they lost during the game. So, look, are you really going to mortgage the possibility of future wins on this losing effort being down by 2 touchdowns just because of pride of it? No. And I think Ron Rivera is playing the smart game. He's playing the long game. He's thinking about this as a seasonal thing and not just a game basis where he's saying, look, I don't want to put more injury on my guys. This is a loss. We did not play enough win. We did not do enough to win the football game. There's no reason to risk us even more. So that's how I kind of feel about it now. Monotone Football is the complete opposite. He on Twitter responded saying, Rivera going into locker room without calling any timeouts doesn't sit well with me. This is the NFL. Crazy S happens. Giving up down 1 score with 4 minutes left is pathetic. Look, I have to disagree for that reason. I understand things happen, but at the same time, injuries can happen. And I understand where Ron Rivera is coming from. Now, that being said, if we had more confidence with Dwayne, in my opinion, I feel like Ron would have went for it. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, and we haven't exactly shown much in the way of being able to turn the ball over and get things going our way as well. So perhaps if we had that behind us as well, then that would be a different story. But Dwayne looked a little bit of a broken man in the fourth quarter. There, his body language wasn't looking great, was it at all? So probably best just to cut our losses, get back to training this week, and do some real work on him, about not necessarily about how he's playing, but how he's feeling as well, so that we can come out fighting next week.
Yeah, Justice 24 essentially alluded to exactly what you're saying there, Ian. Dwayne Haskins making the same mistakes over and over again, not setting his feet to throw, missing wide open wide receivers, and the worst infraction of all, staring down his receivers. These are things I learned not to do in high school. And you're absolutely right. This is Dwayne. Dwayne, I made a point earlier in the game to say that he looked rushed and he looked confused. And what I mean by that is you saw that one replay of the third down where they run dig routes and there's a stick route and there's essentially 3 guys are open and Dwayne doesn't throw to any of them and just escapes out of the pocket. He almost looks confused, Ian. He almost looks like he doesn't see the play. He doesn't see the defense. He doesn't read that it's a cover 3 and that stick route's going to be open. He almost just looks like he's like going as it's happening, and it's almost like he's being hit by a train essentially.
Yeah, and you saw it in the third quarter, I think, where they picked up on our blitz, but he's not picking up on what's coming the other way, like you say. He is like seeming a bit scared, and he's not knowing what option should he go for. It's almost as if he's got in his head, should I go with the play that I've been told, or should I use a bit of freedom here, and if I see something else, go for it.
Yeah, and Justice is absolutely right. Haskins was staring down receivers left and right, leading to 3 interceptions on the day. Look, he had a couple great throws. That second touchdown to Inman was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a perfect throw in between coverage. I loved that from Haskins, but again, that was on short field. They didn't do that much to get there. They haven't built up confidence that they can drive in and drive out, be able to move the ball downfield. Terry McLaurin gave it his all. I'm not going to agree with that offensive pass interference. Look, guys fight for the football, and I understand pass interference, especially offensive. I'm right there with you. They're looking for that arm to extend, but they're fighting for hand positioning there. I don't essentially agree with it, but at the end of the day, it didn't ruin the football game. The Washington football team lost this game with 5 turnovers, in my opinion, and not being able to keep Baker Mayfield inside the pocket. Every time he got outside the pocket, I'm not sure if you noticed it, it was a completion.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a shame, actually, because the first quarter started off really quite positively. The first couple of plays that they had went 3 and out, if I remember rightly, which, we weren't giving up early touchdowns there, and we took the lead as well. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, we've we've been paying attention. Then all of a sudden, the old things came in, and
they brought it within 17-14, and we had a really good chance to be able to win that football game at that point.
Yeah, and then just, Hopkins misses an extra point.
17-13,
Yeah, was it AGG put the ball down as well, which he should have done better with, and all just little things like that, and they just seem to, all those little things just keep on just knocking the confidence of them, and especially Haskins, I think.
Yeah, look, and everyone's going to point to this and say, where's the defense? The defense is giving up points. They're giving up a bunch of yardage, but the fact is they're on the field a lot of the time, and the time of possession is very one-sided. And the fact is they lost Matt Ioannidis. They lost Chase Young. And what we all talked about was a very depth-heavy defensive line. But the fact is, once you lose 2 guys, now those guys are working more. They're on the field more for the entire game. And that was unfortunate to see, because that's when you started to see Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt really starting to pick up yardage on the ground, because this defense was very tired.
Sorry, Carl. Because of that, we lost our rotation then, and then we was on the field too long, and like you say, but if you look at the beginning of the second half, when Montez Sweat came out, like all guns blazing, and I thought beginning of second half, my optimism sort of leapt up again, and I thought, we're going to get at them, but yeah, like you say, because of those 2 big injuries, and we couldn't do the rotation of the D line. Ultimately, it just wore them out, and then the 5 big turnovers.
Yeah, the 5 big turnovers. You're absolutely right. Those you cannot commit. 3 interceptions by Dwayne Haskins, 2 fumbles on the day, and the Washington football team fall to 1-2, going to face the Baltimore Ravens at home next week, which is going to be an incredibly tough matchup, and possibly without Chase Young. I know the Washington football team came out and said, look, this is just a precautionary measure. We want to make sure that Chase Young is okay, which I'm 100% okay with. There's no reason to mortgage him for this game in particular and mortgage the rest of the season. Let's keep him out, make sure he's okay, and I'm 100% on board with that. That being said, Ian, what's your panic meter with this offense? 1 to 10.
7, probably.
Yeah.
A good 7, I'd say. Just something's just not quite clicking there. Even if you take Haskins out of the equation, as a whole, it's just not quite clicking in a consistent basis. You see flashes of it, and you saw flashes of the running backs, and what's been said on your show in previous weeks about the running backs who can catch the ball. That started a little bit, and then it died off. So
yeah, let me read something to you, Ian. I'm sorry to cut you off, Ian. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Let me read something to you. It's staggering. I'm going to read to you the team stats for Washington and the Browns. Passing first downs, 12 for Washington, 12 for the Cleveland Browns. Rushing first downs, 6 for Washington, 6 for the Browns. Okay, 19 each team, right? Total plays, both had 62. Total yards for the Washington football team, 309. Total offensive yards for the Cleveland Browns, 300. Total drives, 12 for the Washington football team, 11 for the Browns. You know where the difference is? Turnovers. 5 turnovers for the Washington football team and 0 for the Cleveland Browns. They almost played identical games, but the difference being turnovers. You can talk penalties, you can talk whatever you want. Time of possession was 33-26, strictly because of those 5 turnovers. And you can't even count the one because it was like the fumble at the halftime and it didn't matter to anything. So you can say the 4 turnovers. Let's just say that. But those were very costly, obviously, which which led to them losing this football game, which sucks because there was moments of greatness where you saw Montez Sweat completely blowing up the game when they lost. When the football team lost Chase Young, they needed somebody on defense to make a play. Montez Sweat was making that happen for them, but then the offense would turn around and shoot him right in the foot.
Yeah, and the Browns were there for the taking. Really, I think if we could have done to them what we did what they did to us, it would have been a totally different game. And it was said, I think Reed said it on Thursday night, that if you can get Baker Mayfield flustered, then he'll go out of the pocket and he'll throw try and throw bombs all over the place, and actually get interceptions. And he looked very comfortable all day today, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and look, they originally did get to him, but the fact is, things weren't happening. And it's almost like this team essentially wants to start playing once they're down by a couple scores. I said it early on in the game when they were down 17-7. That is a losing formula. If you consistently are down multiple scores every football game, you're not going to win many football games. They have to be able to start out better. I like that they went up early, that they got the early touchdown to Inman, which was a good throw by Haskins. But obviously, Haskins' immaturity as a quarterback showed in this football game. He was staring down wide receivers. He wasn't planting his feet, having bad mechanics. He was losing the touch on the football. But at times, he did look good. But then again, he's ditching the pocket, running out when he has easy checkdowns right there ready for him. Haskins has a long way to go, and my panic meter with this team is about an 8 with this offense in particular. I like what they did on the ground. I just do not believe that offensively they can keep up with other teams in the league. No. I think you're right. There's no dynamism there, possibly is the right way to say it, that you see in other teams in the league, and how they're piling on points each game. I mean, you only have to look at the Bills seem to be scoring for fun. I don't know what the score is on their game now, but the Bills seem to be scoring for fun at the moment, and that's what we need to be doing. Yeah, exactly, because this Browns secondary was inept. We talked about it all week long, how they were injury riddled. They didn't look very good. And look, the Washington football team was able to get the ball down the field. They actually did pretty well with moving the football, but it was just the costly turnovers, which was the loss of the game, which is unfortunate to say, because this was, like you said, Ian, the Browns kind of let the Washington football team stay in this game. They had a chance all throughout the game. Up until what? Up until the 2 minutes left where Ron Rivera decided to sit, they had a chance to come back down 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But turnovers is the difference here. I can't say it enough. I'm sorry to say it. Look, we want to pile on Jack Del Rio, but the fact is, this defense was on the field way too much. As much as we want to make any excuse, any in the world, about why they lost this game, it comes with the turnovers. Yeah,
it does. And, let's hope that Chase Young and Ioannidis are back next week. And I think we're desperately missing Cole Holcomb as well. We need him back.
Yeah, and lots of credit to Grace Note, who just tweeted, "You can't win a game in the NFL with 5 turnovers and 4 from the quarterback." You're absolutely right, Grace. Can't argue with you there. I think you're 100% right. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap us up for this reactionary pod. I wish I could be more happy for you folks, but Washington football team had to do some things. And look, that being said, it looks like there were some other losses that came down the pipeline, the NFC East, and the Cowboys are playing right now. So hopefully it's not all doom and gloom. The Washington football team are not completely out of the divisional race. All right, Ian, I thank you so much for coming on the reaction pod, sir. I really enjoy your company and your analysis today.
That's okay, no problem, anytime, and thanks for having us on.
Absolutely, sir. I will talk to you again, Ian. All right, everybody, we'll see you on Tuesday. Washington football. Woo!